Hi guys, I'm Mick here.
I'm Selena here.
Okay, so today we'll be talking a bit about ECs, and Selena will start off with what are ECs and what are the eligibility conditions for ECs. So take it away.
Yeah, okay. So some people might be wondering if I'm staying in a HDB flat and I want to upgrade, what's the next best option that I can upgrade to? Of course, I would say there are many options, right? That one can move from a HDB to a condo,
To a landed.
but yes, to a landed as well. But in between, we have a sandwich class which the government has created called the executive condominiums.
Okay.
For short, it's called EC.
Okay.
So you must be wondering, EC, if it's subsidized, then does that mean that there's some eligibility conditions that require the owners to be able to be eligible to buy, right?
So EC is executive condominium. So
Correct.
it's better than condominium.
Uh, in a way, yes, it's better than condominium because the price is always better.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, historically, if you put two plots of land side by side, if one is an EC and the other one is a private condo, the land price that the government sells to each of the developer is already lower.
Okay. So what is the kind of price differential that we'll be looking at?
Okay, if we are looking at government land price bids, right, it could be 20 to 30% differential, which means that when the consumer is buying, your price gap is also about 20 to 30% difference, which means upfront, if we're side by side plots, if you're buying the EC, you'll be 20 to 30% ahead of your neighbor who already purchased at the private property prices.
So basically, it's a safer point of entry.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So what are the conditions that comes with buying the EC? I mean, it sounds too good to be true, right?
Yes, yes. So for EC, right, there's a few eligibility that you need to fulfill because it is like a BTO, so to speak, in terms of its eligibility conditions.
Okay.
So if you are intending to buy an EC, firstly, you need to have at least one person who is Singaporean. If you are in a family setting, at least one of the spouse must be Singaporean in order to qualify. You must form one of the four groups that is eligible to purchase, which is public will be families, and then after that we have orphans, which means parents have passed on and siblings would like to be eligible to purchase. And then we also have joint singles above 35 years old who can actually buy, even if they are not related.
I see. So it's a bit like the HDB BTO scheme.
Yes, correct.
I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we also have lastly the fiancé scheme, which means
The normal scheme that
yes.
people buy nowadays.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah. So the other eligibility conditions also, you have to fulfill an income ceiling of 16,000 for the parties involved in the purchase itself. So for example, some people might buy parent and child. So parent and child, the both incomes add together must not exceed 16,000.
Well, that means everyone who is going to buy and stay there, everyone will be included
Yes.
in the 16,000 cap.
Yes.
Everyone is in the nucleus.
Everyone who is a buyer of the unit, an essential occupier of the unit. So non-essential, like for example, if you have a 16-year-old kid who is not working, who might be working in the future, it doesn't matter now.
Okay, so a normal Singaporean will have two chances, right? So the EC will count as one of the chances
Yes.
to buy.
Yes.
So if I have a EC and I sold my EC, I can go for one more time for the EC.
Yes, that's right.
Correct.
Yes.
So the only challenge would probably after I sell my EC, there will be a 30-month
Wait out period.
period.
That's right.
So either I have to find somewhere to stay for about 3 years, 2 to 3
3
years.
Yes.
Then I can try to apply for another one.
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
I see. Okay. So in this case, why do people go for ECs actually?
Actually, ECs is a very good stepping stone up towards the private property market.
Okay.
And at the same time, because EC buyers do not have to foot ABSD if they are going from a HDB. So
Oh.
you can't actually own two HDBs at any one point in time in your life. While you are staying in one, you cannot own another one for investment, for example. So if you are staying in a HDB and you don't want to have the hassle of moving out for 3 years before you buy your next property that's building, the beauty is in the EC.
Okay, so the way I see it is people buy ECs firstly is because of the 20 to 30% differential, a safer entry point
Yes.
into the private property market.
Mm.
And then secondly is also they don't have to sell the HDB to buy a new condo.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So that means but only when they collect keys then they will have to sell their house.
Yes, within 6 months period.
Within 6 months period, when they collect keys, they have to sell off their house.
Yes, that's
so
right.
this makes sure that they will have a place of their own lah, to stay. I mean,
Yes.
of course, they can possibly stay with relative, but that would also come into another challenge, which is the financing part.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So maybe for the financing part for ECs, maybe can you explain a little bit more on what's the difference between private condo and ECs?
Okay, so for financing wise, right, in ECs we have two methods
Okay.
of purchasing EC. One is the normal progressive. The other one is actually a deferred progressive method.
Okay.
So the normal progressive would be very similar to how a private condo would be like, which means when you book, you pay a 5% booking fee.
Okay.
After that, you exercise with 15%.
And then the
And
buyer's
then you
stamp
pay
duty.
the buyer's stamp duty. Then after that, you will go through the progressive disbursement,
Foundation,
foundation,
everything
and then progressively the law firm will call for the different loans to be drawn
to
down.
be disbursed down
Yes.
by the bank.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So that's the normal progressive method. But if you are going to be staying in your HDB, you don't want to be paying for two different mortgage at the same time. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so it can become quite a bit of a challenge if you have to pay two sides. So what HDB or rather ECs actually offer is deferred scheme, which means that you only pay the 80% at TOP.
Oh, they call this the deferred payment scheme.
Yes,
Is that
deferred
right?
payment
Deferred
scheme.
payment scheme.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so how will the payment work in this deferred payment scheme?
So for deferred payment scheme, the same thing in the start applies, which is 5% for the booking fee and then 15% to exercise, and you still pay for the stamp duty. Yes, you still pay for the stamp duty after that. Then the rest of the 80% is only upon TOP.
Upon TOP, then it will call down the 65%.
65%, then 15% at CSC.
Okay, so basically, if I want to be ready to buy a EC, I need to have, aside from my current house and my current house loan, I need to have 20% plus buyer's stamp duty. So I need that just to be ready to buy.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So in general, why would people not consider to buy a EC if it sounds too good?
Okay, so of course, bearing in mind that prices is lower, right, means there's a catch.
Okay.
The catch there
so
is,
that's what we're here to find out.
Yes, the catch here is there's MOP of 5 years from the time that the property is completed at TOP.
Is it on key of collection or TOP?
So from the time that you start to collect,
okay,
the MOP starts to run.
Okay.
So that is a 5 years period. Compared to maybe some other people who might be buying private condos, from the moment you exercise your sales and purchase agreement, the 4 years starts to kick off for seller stamp duty. So for some people who choose to invest in private properties, the period that they may want to invest in could be as short as 4 years. But for an EC, you will need minimally 8 to 9 years, depending on the construction speed of the project itself. Then at TOP, you add 5 years. So it comes up to around 9 years.
Yeah. Oh, so that means it's the opportunity cost of the time. And
right.
Because of the eligibility conditions, I mean, firstly, you have to be below 16K.
Yes.
You have to buy with family nucleus approved by HDB.
Yes.
And your names are tracked inside lah. Because if you buy anything else, there will be ABSD incurred.
Also because it is under MOP means that you are
cannot
not able to buy.
I can't even buy anything.
Other forms of residential properties. Yes.
So I think also one very important thing is probably when you get a EC, it is subject to MSR.
Yes.
Instead of TDSR. So that means your borrowing power is easily halved.
That's right.
Correct. So that means the maximum that you can borrow based on your income of 16,000 is probably about $1 million.
Yes, about $1 million.
So basically, most people, let's say if they are basing their loan off their income, whatever that is above $1 million, they are all using cash or CPF to pay for their house.
Yes, that's right. Which is why I think ECs is very popular with second timers or existing HDB owners, because of the ability to be able to cash out from their HDB in the future, but securing the EC price at current day time instead of waiting for 3 years when the property is being built before they can be eligible to buy somewhere that they can stay. Yeah, or they have to look at resale in the market currently.
So basically, EC is something like, let's say if you want to get into the private property market and you are a bit more risk adverse, you can consider it as a step up. And afterwards, you can choose to exit it and step down to a HDB down the road. Because I think nowadays, the ECs, after 15, 20 years, not many people will remember it's an EC anymore. Yes. And some of the ECs are probably built much better than a typical, much better than some condos. We won't say for all condos, but some of them are built better in this way.
In particular, I would say the layouts, right, is very interesting for ECs. You'll notice that in ECs, all blocks are point blocks, which means you only get 4 neighbors all together in one plot. Usually, like in one lift lobby, right, you only have 3 other neighbors other than yourself, which is quite rare because in private condos these days, you can go as many as 13 units per floor, which means you have many sandwich in the middle without ventilation in the toilets and the kitchen.
But that's the current one at the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. If
I mean, in the future, we won't know.
We wouldn't know.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good to know. I mean, generally speaking, I guess the EC will be very enticing if I don't want to worry too much and I want to upgrade to a private property. But the only concern that why people might not go into it is because of the opportunity cost. Because if they are, let's say their mobility of owning property will be tracked for about 8 to 9 years, correct? Versus if you, let's say you sell your HDB, you can possibly buy a private and choose to decouple a bit later, or might have sold it in between and might be on your second property by the time your EC is eligible to sell. Because EC is 5-year MOP to locals and PRs, and only on the 10th year mark, then it becomes fully privatized. Right? Which actually, from my experience, probably not too big difference in the pricing. Because most of them are already only bought by PRs and locals because of the location in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think that sums it up for EC today. Thanks, Selina, for sharing more with me today.
Thank you, Mick, also for asking all the questions.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.